Good afternoon. Sarah here with Liberated Badass. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad that you are too. So, my vibe is all about becoming the most liberated badass that I can be in the remaining time that I am living on this planet. I got to a point around the age of 40 where I hit a wall and was like, man, is this it? Because no, I didn't work my ass off to get here and basically be bored to death in my life. And feel like the life was literally getting sucked out of me. So I made some radical changes, restructured my life, and starting fresh, starting liberated, and throwing out all of the rules, thoughts, beliefs, actions, behaviors that really weren't working for me, that were causing an inner restlessness and frustration. And so part of my liberation process right now has been reading Gabby Bernstein's Judgment Detox. So much of my life has been judgment of myself, judgment of other people, and ultimately holding me back from enjoying life, from being happy, from just living, from even knowing what that means to just be living, to just be, right? I hear it all the time. I've been a therapist for 20 years, and I teach people how to be. I teach people how to be mindful. But I myself was not fully yet embracing what that even means. Not because I didn't want to or because I, didn't look for it, but simply because I didn't know. Because I wasn't in the experience of it, and because it hadn't been taught to me. And so a huge part of my experience has been uncovering what that looks like and how to actually shed the old things that have been holding me. And so many of them were holding me in secret. I didn't see them. And so now I am intentionally looking for them and diving headfirst in to sort through them and question each of them. So this morning I was out on my walk and I set the intention that Gabby Bernstein offers in her book to see light in everyone, especially those people at first glance you think have no light in them. And I had the best walk. The most engagement, the most exchange, ROI that I've had, I think, in any of my walks. And so I got lots of return smiles. I got several people that gave me nods and engagement, the nonverbal engagement, as if they knew me, right? I walk every morning and walk 3 or 4 times a day, actually. I have difficulties in my back and my shoulder, and so I do a lot of walking. And they gave me the nods of, I know you, and I see you, and I've seen you before. And it felt really good. It felt really good to be seen, to be recognized, to be acknowledged. And even a few people that started conversation and wished me well for my day. And so circling back on the home stretch to my cozy studio here by the beach, and I have a transformation moment, a liberation moment. A situation that in years past would have caused me a tremendous amount of shame. And I would have left the situation feeling dirty and devalued. And I would have had thoughts like, gross, what's wrong with him? And it would have left him with a deeper sense of shame. He might not have known it, but it would have fueled his shame. And his capacity for truly enjoying true love, real love, pure love. So I'm walking down the street, right, and a car pulls up behind me and slows. And I glance over to my right to see what's going on. And it's a man, and he sinks slightly lower into his seat. He's got the window rolled down, and he pulls his glasses down, all sexy like, and just fully takes me in and scans my body. Now, I have the physique of a runner. Somebody just called me a runner, asked me if I was a runner yesterday. The physique of a runner or a yogi. And I, for a lifetime, have felt shame around this body, which makes me so sad even to say it out loud, but to feel so much shame around this body because I grew up under the belief that I was responsible to be sure that men were not lusting after me. And I learned this as a child, and to dress very conservatively and modestly, and to essentially not give off the appearance of being sexually desired, basically. I grew up in a fairly religious home, in a church that had a lot of rules, and so that's how I took in the information, was to function in such a way that I was not desirable, that I was not overtly desirable to anyone other than my husband. And ironically, when I got married, my husband and I, although he found me very attractive, we had a lot of issues in the department of sex. And he himself had so much shame around his own powerful sex drive, that he had found so many other ways, right? All of the typical ways that guys are reinforced to find satisfaction outside of marriage, before marriage. And that when he actually got into a serious relationship that offered this true, deep love and intimacy, he literally couldn't do it. So anyway, I'm on my walk, and this guy lowers his glasses, and normally in another lifetime I would have been offended, but today my default response was to smile and giggle, which is so funny, right? In the big picture of my being such a conservative, rigid, quote unquote uptight person for most of my years, I literally giggled when this man, who's like completely just taken by the sight of me in this one moment, his whole expression is like engaged, and he mouths the word wow as he's looking me over, and makes this like gesture with his tongue of that desire, that sexual tension. And he just exchanged the moment, and I smiled, and I looked deeply into his eyes, intentionally, because I'd set out my walk with this intention to share light, to see light in each other. And we just had like a second of an exchange that I felt this energy of knowing, this energy of I see you, and thank you for seeing me. Because this man has learned to get his needs met by putting himself out there directly. Now, no doubt many people respond to this negatively, this intense prowess that he has decided to execute with. And I'm sure many women that he approaches this does not go well with. But he's decided to put it out there. He's decided to fully own this energy that roars within him. And in that moment of this second gaze that we held, I could feel that sense of knowing. And I wanted him to know that I too, even though I hold it in so many ways and have for so many years, it's totally new for me to just like totally be out there with my essence, that I was approving of his desire, his wanting, his longing, his depth of need for connection. And I was identifying with it. And I wanted him to know that I too feel that very same deep inner longing to be seen, to be sexually wanted and desired, to be felt that craving. And so in that moment, that one little moment of exchange, he was in fact meeting my needs to be seen, to be desired. In history past, I would have felt ashamed at getting my needs met by some random man on the street, right? And yet in this moment, I was like, this is totally okay. This moment is totally okay. Even if I was married in this state that I'm in now, this liberated badass state, that moment was okay. We were just two human beings exchanging a moment of awareness. And so it occurred to me, and I intend to start this into my conversations even more, all of the many shameful ways that I have felt about my body. Even me, with my physique, with my place in life, my privilege and my just the world that I was in was so well cared for and loved, and yet so repressive. And to acknowledge the shame that I feel like will help to free other people, especially those people, and men especially, but also women who have that strong, powerful sex drive within them, to know that it's really about their desire for connection, their desire for love, their desire to be seen, and to have that experience of intimacy in a way that allows them to feel alive. To let them know that it's good, that it's actually like a beautiful thing to have that wanting within them. He eased on down the road. No words were actually even exchanged. And it was beautiful. And I laughed, and it was beautiful. So for any of you that are seeking and or have that same inner confusion about your own wants, desires, sexuality, and or even considering that maybe that's there, if there's an anxiety or a restlessness within inside of you, it's entirely possible. I mean, sex is like a huge part of our lives and a huge part of what we were intended to experience that is amazing in life. It's entirely possible that you have beliefs that are truly holding you back from being the most liberated, badass version of yourself and experiencing the world and living at the level at which we were intended to experience it. And so I am putting this out into the world, this message and my light, to bring light into yours. If you are interested in pursuing it further, please reach out to me. I'm on all the platforms right now, Facebook especially, and I will post some links for you to be able to further reach out to me in this post. All right, as always, thank you for sharing space with me, for showing up, for taking that step, that leap to fully own your life. Go do that thing you most want to be doing. I'll see you soon.